Hey there, this is Kyle Hebert, the voice of Ryu from Street Fighter V. Rise up. The answer lies in the heart of battle. You're listening to A.C.M.G. presents Talk Time Live. Hadouken!
It's time. Talk time. Let's go. Anime, comics, movies, and games. Come on and let's get it. Talk time. Anime, comics, movies, and games. Come on and let's get it. Talk time. Anime, comics, movies, and games. Come on and let's get it. Talk time. Anime, comics, movies, and games. Come on and let's get it. Talk time. Live. Started in the 80s with Matt Cross. Dudes in the hood might have called that soft, but I carried that cross like Jesus did. Fast forward, I teach the kids to learn how to let go, live life, and show love to all things that don't matter where y'all from. And luckily, there's a show called Talk Time. We've been waiting for this for a long time. Dax kicks the facts on all the geek news, special guests and unbiased reviews. Suburban kids, the hipster street dudes, all can learn something new. Me too. I heard words when no faith is empty. I stayed the course, so my haters tempt me. Beat the podcast, that'll make them envy. It ain't too trendy, it's A.C.M.G. Anime, comics, movies, and games. Come on and let's get it. Talk time. Anime, comics, movies, and games. Come on and let's get it. Talk time. Anime, comics, movies, and games. Come on and let's get it. Talk time. Anime, comics, movies, and games. Come on and let's get it. Talk time. Live.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. This is A.C.M.G. presents Talk Time Live, the Prime Show. I am your host, Xavier Josiah. Folks, what a freaking week that we have as far as our favorite fandoms in reference to video games, movies, comics. I mean, you just name it. It just happened this week. It was just awesome. It superseded expectations. It blew us away, if you will. We're going to talk about that all here today on Talk Time Live. We got the Game Award recaps that we're going to talk about. We're not going to cover everything, but the highlights of some of what I was paying attention to, some of the ones that I wanted to put focus on. There were so many, categories on here, and congratulations to all nominees and award winners as well, who did a great job this year. It was just so much going on, so many great moments this year. Jeff Keighley has outdone himself. We're going to talk about all of that on our talk topic this week, but also we got so much to talk about as far as the news going on and things that I got to do this week. So we're going to talk about that in our next segment. So let's not waste any time. Let's find out what's new in the world of A.C.M.G.
And now, it's time to find out what's new in the world of A.C.M.G.
All right, folks. I mean, like I said, we got a lot to talk about this week. So many trailers and so many announcements and so many reveals came up this week. But before I do that, I just wanted to talk about the fact that I finally got a chance to go back to New York, and it's so strange. And I know it sounds strange to a lot of people because to most, going to New York is kind of like just normal breathing to some people, especially those who live in the East Coast and in particular the tri-state area, the Delaware Valley area where I live at in Philadelphia. It's common, but especially to those who go to New York Comic Con, common. I particularly have not been in New York, and this is extremely sad on a lot of cases, and I take claim to the shame. I have not been in New York since 2000. Yes, and if you realize this is pre 9/11, and I don't know why it took me this long to get there. I don't know. I mean, there were so many things that I could have gone there for, especially New York Comic Con, of course, but I've never gotten a chance to go there. For some reason, I never had a reason. I used to go there like often on a yearly, especially dating back to when I was in art school with a lot of my friends. We would go on trips to the Met, and then after that, we would like sneak away, go on to like Canal Street and Times Square or Fifth Ave, something like that, and just get totally lost in New York. It used to be great. Let me tell you the last time New York. One of the most memorable things I remember about going to New York was shout out to a friend of mine, Nicole. we went down there and went to WWE New York. If you guys remember that, wrestling fans remember that. There used to be, or Gen X wrestling fans remember this. Some of the newer ones don't. That they actually had a restaurant in Times Square. And that was also the home of Sunday Night Heat. They used to do a lot of tapings there. And so much so, but the food was actually pretty good. I don't know why they decided to shut it down. After a while, it became WWF restaurant, and then it became WWF New York. Now, the cool part about this is that I actually still have the menu book, the menu cover for it, because they were selling them at the time. So I was like, you know what? Who knows when this thing's going to last? I'm going to get one. It's really cool. They really had it set up. I still own it. I still have it with me. It's awesome. Still, it has the old Attitude Era logo to it as well. So it's a pretty cool thing. So that was like one of the last times I went there, remember it. And Toys R Us was just open there, which I don't think is there anymore. Obviously, it's not there anymore. So that was a situation there. But now, 18 years later, post 9/11, I actually made a attempt to come back. And it's good to see that a lot has not really changed. It's still the same energetic, vigorous, electric environment that I've known to love. It's just constant go. I mean, it's called the city that never sleeps for a reason. It's an amazing place. They got some really great shops there. Here's the funny part. With me actually playing Marvel Spider-Man, I'm so stupid because I'm actually looking up at all the landscapes and all the buildings and everything, which absolutely looks exactly like the landscapes that they designed in the game. But I wasn't looking at it to see how much it's uncanny to the actual game. I was up there to see the little Spider-Man's going to actually swing by. I don't know why. It's just like, I just kept looking up. But nonetheless, I did get a chance to stop at a few places, some really, really cool places, some places I've been told to go to for quite some time. That one of them was Nintendo New York. I've been dying to. In fact, it was the first place that my wife and I went to, and it was an absolutely awesome store to go to. Now, you would think that being that it's the Nintendo store, that they would have a lot of exclusive or, hard to get items, especially amiibos at this place. They have a huge collection of amiibos, but a lot of them are just display. They have a small selection of them, which I guess you have to go to Amazon or you have to go on their website to get, which is fine, I guess. But it'd have been really, really cool if they had the entire amiibo collection. But what they did have was a lot of collectible memorabilia and items and really cool swag at this place that you really can't get anywhere else. I mean, like clothing and bags, hats. I came out of there pretty well in there. There were some things I wanted to get, but I decided not to because I had to really use critical thinking and like, am I really going to use this thing? Stuff like that. But I managed to really get come out of there with some cool stuff. One was mostly Zelda related stuff too. I got a Boggin hat, which has the 8-bit pixel versions of Zelda from Zelda 1 on there. It's like 3 different frames on there, which is pretty cool. Left, up, right, pretty much. And it's on there, and then in the back has a little leather patch to it as well. So, but it feels really good. I love the quality of it. It's really light and on there. It's really light and warm at the same time. It's really cool. They did not, waste any time on the quality of that hat. So I really like it. And it's green, so it goes with my new green, coat that I actually just got too for the winter. So it worked out there. There were some other things too. I also got a messenger bag that also is awesome. Some of the people in the A.C.M.G Facebook group got a chance to see some of these items and some of the things that I actually put on there. Which, by the way, if you do want to see it, all the things that are involved in Nintendo New York, you can join our group if you're 18 or older with a legit profile of 5 years or older. You have to have a profile of 5 years or older. Yeah, most likely, especially if I don't know you, you have to have have one of 5 years or older. And you have to have your profile has to have interactions of you know, with everybody else. It can't be you a picture of somebody else or 5 other people, and you're just posting pictures, but you're not talking to people or whatever. We're not going for that. No, we want legit profile. We want legit people. We want real people who want to socialize and talk to and discuss things that we love. So go to facebook.com/groups/ACMG1. Check us out. You get to see all the pictures of Nintendo New York and all the things that I got to see in there. But the messenger bag is pretty cool. I needed a new bag, and this is heavy duty for my iPad. You know, all of my, you know, things that I carry along, my Nintendo Switch if I'm traveling along. So it's a really cool. It has a lot of great compartments in there. So it's awesome. But the front of it has the Triforce, which is a metal emblem embedded and sewn into the actual bag, flip up. And it looks really cool. I absolutely love it and enjoy it. It's great. Again, great quality as well for that. But there were also some other cool things. Super Mario and Zelda encyclopedias. One encyclopedia was really cool because the Zelda one, because it was designed to look exactly like the gold cartridge from the original game from the NES system. And it also had the actual slipcover with it as well, which looked like the old cartridge slipcover from back in the day. I was so eager to want to get that because it has legitimately all of the information of just everything you want to know about Zelda in that book. It's awesome. It's a great tabletop, a coffee, book, a coffee table book, which they call it pretty much. But thing is, I don't have a coffee table, and I'm wondering if it's just going to sit up on my shelf and not even breathe anything at all. So I decided to opt out of that and get those 2 instead. But so many great things. They also had a lot of displays going on, not just the amiibos, but they had a really, really, really cool display of all of the different Nintendo systems that ever came out. Let me see, because I can go in here and check it out. Let's go ahead here. So let me see, because there was one of the things that was cool too. Not just that, but there was a Game Boy, the original Game Boy, that was damaged in the Gulf War, and they have this display. And apparently, it encountered a bomb attack, and apparently, this thing still works. So I guess one of the soldiers donated it to Nintendo, and just to show them that this thing still works. The buttons are still intact. Everything. I mean, this is like hard plastic to take a bomb attack, but it is. If you look at it, it's cindered. It's really, really burnt up to death, but the screen is still intact. The buttons are still intact, and they said it's still operating. So that's awesome. But like I said, they have a display of all the different Nintendo systems. Rob is in there. The lightsaber, the zapper was there, is in there as well. So, your robotic operating buddy. I was just telling somebody that I used to own this, and I have no idea what I did with it. And that irks me because that was a really cool thing. I have the Amiibo version of it now. The Super Famicom, which I actually never got a chance to ever buy a Super Famicom system at all, and to see that up close and for the first time was really cool, as well as the TV game 15, which is like the oldest of their consoles, which had Pong in there as well. They also, what did they have? Also the Virtual Boy as well. My old friend Seneca and Antoine Jackson. Antoine, I believe Seneca said, Antoine owned this. And it was a funny thing because we knew no one else who owned this system. And the system died an early death. It was one of Nintendo's rare failures that they had. But it's not a failure from the fact of gameplay or, quality or whatever like that. It was just weird to play a all red retro, infrared game. I always thought that it would mess up people's eyesights if you play that thing. So I don't know. I don't even know if Ant still has that. That's an interesting question. I gotta ask him about that. But he was the only one in existence that I know that owned that system. It's probably I would like to believe that only 1,000 people have owned that system. But at the same time, it's one of those things that could actually cost a lot of money just from nostalgia or just collectible sake. So if he still has it, hold on to that. So there was other cool things too. I mean, like shirts, bags, like I said, they got statues of different characters and such. I mean, it's just really, really cool. So that was one of the things that it was, the whole place. If you get to New York, go there. It's at Rockefeller Plaza, and it's pretty damn fun. It's a pretty damn good place. There was a lot of great places in Rockefeller Plaza as well. It's really beautiful, especially Rockefeller Plaza is so great during the Christmas season. Not only that, it was packed. I mean, packed full of people. And most likely because it's the Christmas season, but I do recall that this is like normal in New York. But credit to everybody and all the stores that we've been into because they organized people in very well. There were lines. Every store that we went to, there were lines packed up to the gill, wrapped around around the entire skyscraper buildings. It was like tons of people. It's like you're going to like a concert or a nightclub, but it was like 1 p.m. in the afternoon, and people were just excited to get into like places like the M&M store. So that was one thing there. The other place that I went to, which I'm extremely excited about right now, is the Lego store. And I had no intention of getting anything from the Lego store. I just wanted to see what the hell was going on. And I didn't expect I was going to be excited about anything until I walked up and saw the Voltron, the special edition exclusive Lego Voltron that we talked about a while back. And somebody posted a while back on, I don't know if it was me or somebody else posted a while back on our A.C.M.G Facebook group, but this is a huge deal. I mean, like this is a situation. It was originally designed by a software engineer by the name of Leandro and nicknamed Lindy Tayag, who's from the Philippines, and he has a huge passion for Voltron and Lego building. So if you don't know, Legos can now be ordered and designed so you could create your own original type of concept. I mean, the Lego company has grown exponentially and expanded out to something so much broader that it's not even a kids thing anymore. It's its own art form now. It's its own medium, its own art medium, if you will, right now. In art medium, I mean, like, there's oils, there's acrylic, there's sculpting, there's, it's just that type of thing. But now Legos is now a new, really respected art form now because people are using it to create some dynamic works of our sculpture using these items now. And when he created an actual Voltron, a accurate size Voltron, I mean, accurate is the same scale as the original toy. The guys at Lego decided to, and there's a video out here of them explaining this too. The guys at Lego decided to, all right, let's take it a step further. Let's take from what he did and work with him on what he did, and then make an actual Voltron that actually transforms and works exactly the same way that the original Voltron did. And they managed to do this, and they now have what it is, a Voltron that not only you actually use the Legos to build each lion the way it looks as, a Lego version of the actual lions in the same scale, but they do also transform to feet and legs, to arms and body, and forming the head in exactly the same way. It is awesome. I have not, when I saw this, I was at awe because I remember my mother winning the lottery. She actually won the lottery. And one of the things that she did was get me the actual Voltron, the legit real deal Voltron. And not many kids had that back then around my way. That thing was expensive back then, probably still expensive now. The Lego one is not cheap either, but I had the original one, the die-cast metal version, that was with the material, with that material was banned because of the lead or whatever, something that was up with that. But die-cast metal was so great. They basically, I think everything was done after plastic after they had to recall a lot of that stuff back. But I think some things are now being used still as die-cast metal as well. I don't know if they managed to troubleshoot or perfect that metal, but the alloy in that or whatever. But it was an awesome deal, and very heavy too. But I had that, and lo and behold, one of my dumb ass friends back in the day, bitter hating ass, broke the Black Lion, enabling it to no longer work as what it should. The head got popped off or whatever. So I remember that was one of my most crushed memories of that situation. So that was one of the things then. And lo and behold, my wife surprises me, and she ends up getting me the Voltron. And I didn't expect me to light up the way I did. Not only just because it's the Voltron, but because she did it. My wife, surprised the hell out of me with that. I was not expecting that at all. God bless her. I love her to death. I'm so proud of her because she's been doing so much with her business. We both decided to, just say goodbye to the everyday working world, to pursue our own dreams and our own ambitions. I'm doing podcasting is not what I do full time. I'm doing graphic design and multimedia development as a freelancer, and she is going on to doing her business. Some of you guys may have heard some of the advertisements from back then of her pet care business, and it's grown exponentially. Her clientele is growing exponentially and exclusive, to say the least. And she has been having a lot of fun doing it. So much so that she has enough clientele that she can back out of her normal everyday job at a vet hospital. So I couldn't be more proud of her, what she's accomplished. And, this was really cool of her to do. I mean, absolutely. I love you for this, girl. So definitely that was a great highlight for me, is that to see that. But they also had some other really cool things as well that were displayed there. I think, and case in point, this is where, and by the way, the cool part, how detailed this Voltron is, you got to be 16 years or older to mess with this thing. Like you cannot be a kid, and this is not for kids. I mean, 16 is the minimum that they say that, because it's a lot of sophisticated designing, structuring, and putting together and stuff like that. But it's not the most complex design that they have ever done. That goes to the Porsche 911 GT3 RS and the Bugatti Chiron. Beautiful. And I don't drive at all. My wife drives. I don't drive at all. But if I had to pick a car, if I had any choice of any car that I wanted to drive, Bugattis have always been my favorite. I love the way they look. They kind of look like a transformer. And it's just it's one of the most fully equipped, beautiful, fastest, deals in the world. And one of the most expensive cars in the world, by far. And they have an actual version of that that you can put together. It's not cheap. That no kid should actually have this. No kid should have this. This is one of those things that's strictly for, car lovers who really enjoy, that type of car, like whether you're a Porsche lover or you're just a car lover as well. Both of those came up to like $300 and $400 for that. There's no way in hell. The Voltron alone was like $179. There's no way in hell I would have a kid even mess with that because of how expensive it is. That's just crazy. I'm not going to work on that now because next week, if I'm correct, next week is the premiere of Voltron Season 8, aka the final season. On that day, while I'm watching, I will put together, or try to put together, and complete the entire, lion structure while I'm watching it. So that'll be cool. And then I will be reviewing that as well. So stay tuned for that and much more. There's going to be a lot I'm going to be reviewing this week. I don't know if I might have to do separate episodes or whatever, or do extra episodes or whatever, because Spider-Man has also come out. It's coming out as well. And by the way, Spider-Man is already nominated for a Golden Globe. Is already got rave reviews. Is already 100 in Rotten Tomatoes before it even came out. I'm still looking forward to that movie more than ever now to check it out. It looks really cool, awesome art style, animation style, and I can't wait. But yeah, I'm going to be reviewing that as well. What else is coming out? Voltron's coming out. Baki, the Grappler, is coming out for Netflix on the 18th, which is going to be a Tuesday. So I am geared for that. I can't wait. It's going to be awesome for that. If you haven't watched Baki, if you're a mixed martial arts fan and an anime fan, if you have not watched Baki the Grappler, you need to jump on this now. And you also need to find the original OVA, and you need to find the 2 seasons of that show. Unbelievable. Extreme underground martial arts type of tournament style. I love that series. So that's coming out as well. So stay tuned for that. If it's on Netflix now, that you can already actually click on or click on it to add on to your list. So I would do it now so you can get reminded of it soon. The trailer's already up on Netflix now, so go ahead out of your way and check that out as well. But I digress. The Lego store, absolutely awesome. They also had a sculpture of the Star Wars Y-Wing as well, amongst other ones too. Surprisingly, I did not see a display of Voltron there, but I don't care. I've seen pictures of it. I've seen videos of it. I know it's legit. I know it's the way it's just perfectly structured. I'll give a little bit more intel on my experience with it when the time comes, when we review the series, the final series as well. So, but again, this is absolutely phenomenal. Like I said, everything else in New York was really, really cool. Got to see some really cool displays out in Times Square, including a huge billboard of Dragon Ball Super Broly advertised all over, as well as Aquaman too. Actually, Aquaman's was way bigger. It's like it was just multiple different buildings it was on. But to see Dragon Ball Super biggest day, and I mean huge, on a billboard up there, that's serious. That's real. I can't say it enough. Anime is here. Anime is officially here, and anime is officially in the mainstream and crossover fame at this point. And most thankfully to Dragon Ball, and even Naruto gets a nod for that as well. It's really, but for the hardcore, it's many more. But I don't think the crossover, the casual fans, understand all of what we love yet, but I feel like they will. Battle Angel Alita's coming out soon as well too, and hopefully people will get the understanding that that's based on a manga and a anime as well. So we'll get to see. Hopefully that will be good. It looks really good, but just to see that up there was just absolutely great. And quick note, which was great about this, was that Fetty Wap's mixtape, his Bruce Wayne mixtape, was advertised right above, but you didn't realize it. You don't realize it because the Dragon Ball Z advertisement is so much bigger. So I barely noticed that Fetty Wap deal until I look back at my pictures. I'm like, oh, what is Bruce Wayne? What the hell? So yeah, it pretty much it just looks like Fetty Wap is trying to get the rub off of Dragon Ball Z because it's right there. But it was hilarious to see that there as well. Last bit of news for New York that I wanted to say was that I went into a bookstore. We took the bus. We took the Greyhound. Greyhound, fantastic. I have a Greyhound bus in quite some time, especially going to New York. And it's been a while since I did that. And it's great to see that they are even more organized, at least for our trip in particular, than it was before. We had no trouble going there and back. In fact, shout out to them. We actually got in. We luckily got to leave early because we did so much there. It was like nothing else to do. And we were just scheduled to leave like a little later, but we were just decided to go. And I just went over to check out and see if we could get like in on the early seats. So shout out to the driver there. He got us in, and we got to leave and get home early. and just chill for the rest of the night. So, but very smooth trip. I absolutely enjoyed it. And I think we paid $60 for 2 people, which is really not bad at all, considering if you catch Amtrak, you're probably going to be paying $100 or even more for the Amtrak. And granted, Amtrak will get you there quicker, but it's a 2-hour ride. It didn't feel lagging at all going on Greyhound. I was totally fine with it. On the way back, I watched Transformers the movie, which took up a lot of the time to get from point A to point B. At this point, and by the time I finished that movie, we were pretty much back in Philly. So it worked out. 2 hours is not a bad deal to go take a trip to New York and have fun. So I highly recommend it. If you haven't gone to New York on Greyhound, go ahead and give it a try. It's really cool. And they even now they got e-tickets now too, so which made it a lot easier for us. They just had to scan it in, boom, and we were set. It was, pretty good. But and during at a bus station in New York, I managed to catch my eye on a special edition softcover issue covering the life of Stan Lee, which is in bookstores now. I'm assuming Barnes & Noble's probably has it too, and other bookstores have it. It's not on for digital. That was interesting because I do had the Digital Entertainment Weekly app, so it was really cool that I actually caught on to this. And it legitimately covers virtually everything. That's a lot of what if you've learned about Stan Lee throughout your entire comic book fandom, history, what they're saying in there is not anything new or newsworthy, but it's their version of covering the life and times of Stan Lee. Great pictures in there, and they even have talk about the cameos. They talk about him, which was most important to me, his political aspects in the comics as well. They got a really cool article in there talking about mutant being the code word, quote unquote, for what Stan and Steve Ditko and or Jack Kirby was trying to accomplish with that book as well. And it really just covers a lot of him, and why he's so important in pop culture and just history and U.S. history, period. I wish I knew the address to Bill Maher because I could have sent him. I would love to send him this book. I think they did a really great job of it. I'm still reading through some of it, but I'm trying not to even mess with it either because I really want to put it away because I don't know if this is going to be some form of collector's. It has the Time Life book type of style of it covering. It's really cool. It's really cool. In the front, it has Stan Lee and all his other characters. In the back, it has an old picture of Stan Lee as well. So they really did a good job. If I were you guys, if you're really fans of Marvel and really fans of Stan Lee, go out of your way to find this book. I don't think it's going to be around for long, and when it does, it may cost you a lot more. So go out of your way. I think it was like $15 that I paid for it for there. So definitely. So enough about New York. Let's talk about some really, really interesting news we haven't had a chance to talk about, including Captain Marvel's trailer, the new trailer that came out. We were told that they were going to come out with it during the Eagles game, and in fact, it did. And I am so absolutely looking forward to this movie. Brie Olsen actually looks so much more badass. They show more of the Skrulls, including her fight with the old lady that actually was a Skrull, and the old lady is actually flipping around acrobatically in the train in a close, tight area as well. So, and they also show Fury teaming up with her as well. We don't know which stage Fury's in, whether he's still with S.H.I.E.L.D. or is he about to join S.H.I.E.L.D. We don't know where. They don't really cover that part of it too. But we also see the cat that actual Marvel Captain Marvel actually owns in the comics comes under a different name. They named, I forgot, I think they named the cat Goose, which was based on what is it? Top Gun, which makes a lot of sense here. So, and also I believe I don't read Captain Marvel, but I was told that there may be some significance with that cat as well. Like the cat may be another alien being as well. But there's a lot that's going to happen here. They showed, I believe, Jude Law in here. There's still no indication of whether he is like Marvel or is he somebody else. because there's a lot of speculation that he could be the main villain as well for the movie. So it's really cool. Some of the cool things that I saw was some of the characters and cast from what was it? Guardians of the Galaxy that will be reappearing in here as well. I'm looking forward to it. There were some people who were skeptical about it or wasn't excited for it. And, it's one of those cases where I think people are there's some people who are just there are those people who are just going to be tired or worn out of all the epic experience that they've had. And then there are those who may want to be contrarian about it. And just because it's the most popular thing in the world, they want to go against the grain of what's popular. So you'll have those type of people every once in a while. Sometimes you can understand which one is which. Other times it's just like, all right, whatever. My thing is that I can't sit here and never be tired or fatigued on what Marvel has done for us in over 10 years because of the fact that we absolutely, I've been around since the 90s. I've said this many times before. We didn't have this type of quality. I am not going to be spoiled. I'm not remotely going to be acting spoiled. Like having a great quality, movie is beneath me. Just be, even still, it's not like they were saying it was bad. It was like they were just saying it like, we've seen this stuff before. Okay, we're seeing another great, movie with great special effects and great acting. Okay, that sounds like certain people problems to me. That's not a really bad thing. Look at what we had in the 90s with Dolph Lundgren as the Punisher. Look what we had up to the part where Warzone, for God's sake, which, by the way, Warzone just Warzone is on Netflix. I dare not watch that. It was a travesty. So you had to deal with that. I mean, you had to deal with the old Captain America from the 90s, Roger Corman's Fantastic Four. Not until Blade came out is when we really started having quality. And I hate when we get into this jaded type of attitude where we're just we're acting like we're fatigued of this stuff. I'm like, you knew what you need to do. You need to look back on what we had and then look at what we got now. You won't feel so jaded after this. I don't know if people are doing that just to try to sound cool or not, or to be that rebellious kid. And I said this a while ago. Sometimes I feel like some people use the internet to be the cool kid that they weren't in high school. And I truly believe that sometimes. So, there's a lot of things that people wanted to do in high school and wanted to get that, attention that they never got before. So the internet is their hope of doing that without even putting in the real work to do it. You could be the bad boy online without being a bad boy in real life. Sort of, kind of. And this is what we've come to in our society now. This is the generation that we live in. Whereas I had to really get into, battles and all this stuff and fight and stuff like that, or do something crazy, harass a teacher or whatnot or something like that. These guys just got to go online. Get kicked out of school or something like, no, none of that. So I'm not endorsing any of the negative stuff or bad stuff to get attention, by the way. It's just, that's what happens. That's what the results that happens from it. I know from experience, and it's something I wouldn't do again. So, and I damn sure wouldn't use the internet to try to pretentiously be something I'm not. So, but I digress. I'm looking very forward to this movie. It's coming out next year, right before this next trailer that we finally got, which was teased, sort of kind of teased, and wink wink at the Game Awards. The Russo brothers presented a category, and I forgot which category it was, but they presented a category at the Game Awards, and people automatically started thinking, myself included especially, oh my God, are they going to premiere the Avengers 4 trailer out and from the Game Awards? Because we had already had a lot of surprises already. This will be the ultimate drop the mic moment for the Game Awards, for Jeff Keighley, for the Russos to really give them that respect to do so. They did not do it, but they did still appear, and I thought that was awesome. There was a lot of great celebrities too. We'll talk about that again. Jonah Hill was there too. I forgot the guy's name who was the star of Community. I forgot him. But there was a lot of interesting celebrities there, and I that was cool. But it left us thinking like, all right, this trailer's coming. This trailer's absolutely coming. Well, it came that morning. The next morning, they premiered it in the morning. Woke everybody up Friday and was like, whoa. So I do believe that them appearing at the Game Awards really did show something, and it gave us a hint that like where it's coming. So it's here. We finally got the trailer. This really epic but somber like trailer. Just seeing the aftermaths of what everybody is going through from the events of Infinity Wars, it felt really, really depressing and sad. And I guess that was what they were, looking for, and they succeeded because it started with Tony Stark in space, doing a recording to Pepper, and he's without food, rations, and he's without, he's going to be without oxygen, in just another day. So we don't know. That's a cliffhanger they left on us as well. And on Earth, you got Steve Rogers and you got Black Widow talking about, who's left around the world. He literally took 50%. And, it's just really crazy. It's like the aftermath is just like, what's going to happen now? What are we going to do? Just half of the civilization in the universe is gone at this point. It just all leads up. There's no action. There's absolutely no action in this trailer at all. It's just showing everybody in distraught. Thor in regular clothes. I mean, it's just crazy. The really cool part that we got to see was Hawkeye making his return, but not as Hawkeye. My man is in full Ronin costume with sword. He is, whatever happened. So we'll see what's going on here and what happened. I got a feeling Thanos may have taken his family from him, and that's what probably started. But it shows a really cool scene of Natasha and Hawkeye, or she's finding him. It looks like the same scene in Hong Kong where Doctor Strange was at. It kind of looks like that to me. So we'll see what's going on there. But, at the end, it had, believe it or not, Scott Lang, who apparently found his way out of the quantum realm, and he's at the door of the Avengers mansion or the headquarters or whatnot. And Steve is like, is that a past recording? And Natasha's like, no, that's the front door. So obviously we're going to find out how he got himself out, some form of fashion. Now, granted, you got to understand, and people always get tricked into this, and some of the people in our A.C.M.G. Facebook group immediately got tricked into this, and we had to tell them, like, whatever you see right now, you can only believe, like, at least 50 to 75% of it, because there may be some scenes that will not be shown in the initial actual movie, because if you guys remember, Infinity Wars, they had the scene in Wakanda where everybody was charging. There was the Hulk there. Then we watched the movie. We find out Hulk got his ass handed to him by Thanos, and we haven't seen the Hulk ever since. So when they got to that part when they were all charging in Wakanda, it wasn't him. It was the Hulkbuster suit, I believe, that was with it. So they have ways of doing it. And they did the same thing with Civil War, because we didn't know Spider-Man was going to be in there too up until, and there were some scenes that they showed without Spider-Man, and then all of a sudden we got a chance to see the movie, and the scenes where that we didn't see in the trailer showed Spider-Man in the movie. So don't take everything literally to what you think, your speculations, because they're the masters of throwing people off, and they want to throw you off. And I'm actually glad that they worked that hard to do so, because we always try to figure out what's going on, and to the most part we do. And the bad part is, what people don't understand is that it lacks the surprise. And I want to be surprised. I think they're working hard to make us be surprised. And I think this is a part where we need to stop trying to be smart about things and just let things go. We don't have to be Sherlock on everything. I know everybody wants to be recognized as smart and genius, or a professional or a fan or a specialist of what their field is, but it's okay to be wrong, and it's okay to not, know everything. Because if you know everything, there's nothing to learn, and if there's nothing to learn, there's nothing to do. So, let's just chill and let it ride. It will be here on April 28th, and we will see the end of all these phases of everything leading up to 10 years from now comes here. And we may see Captain Marvel as well. And we're also going to, from that trailer, we don't know where that's going to lead to and how that's going to lead back. Because if you remember, Fury, gave her the beeper, or he kind of beeped her or something like that. And so we'll see where that goes from there. So I do believe that we're going to see Captain Marvel in this version as well too. So we'll see how far they go. But 2 awesome trailers in one week is just unbelievable. So I can't wait. I just so happy to be a fan in this day and age. I mean, we're just our advancement in knowledge and science and technology has allowed us to enjoy a lot of the fun things in life more than ever. I wish that we enjoy things a lot better, but we got so much going on in this world right now. I'm just glad that we got Marvel, DC, we got anime, all those trying to take us away from the true real life situations just for a half hour, just for 2 hours, just for a moment, and just let us enjoy things, just to be happy, just to smile when we see stuff like this. So, speaking of smiling about things, Saturday, Toonami, the new lineup, which includes the premiere of Megalobox. If you guys remember, I actually did a review on Megalobox. I was very intrigued by this anime. It's a sci-fi sports anime, if you will, in tribute to I really forgot the name of the one, and I need to do it justice here. So I am going to go out of my way to find what this, because I actually did a review. It's been a while back. Megalobox. Yes, it's based on, it's celebrating the 50th anniversary of Ashita no Joe, which is the old legendary manga and anime series, or manga series. No, it was an anime actually, from back in the day. So it was in tribute to that, and it's, there was like an OVA series of it, about like 13 episodes or something of that nature. Originally old school hand-drawn style, beautifully done. Just unbelievable. It looks fantastic, and it's now on Toonami, which means there's a dub version, and I absolutely enjoyed the dub version. I really hate it when people talk about dubs. Like, these actors do a really great job on the way more now. Way more now than they ever did, like in the 80s and the 90s. There were some in the 80s and 90s that were great, but now it's just like, it's so much better. And I felt that these guys did a great job. They felt really comfortable, whereas like in the past, in the 80s and 90s, when anime was being done, they didn't know how to act or portray. I don't want to say they didn't know how to act, but they didn't know how to portray the characters well and be comfortable with the characters. They didn't feel like they could be, they could have the same charisma and portrayal that they would like at a, from a normal drama series or a sitcom series or just a live action series in general. And somehow, some way, the comfort zone, everybody broke into the comfort zone of doing voice dubbing for an ADR for anime, and it's been way better than it ever has at this point. I haven't really heard a bad modern anime at all. I really haven't. I mean, of course, there's so much anime out there. It's hard for me to really say, but Megalobox, they did a great job. This is another Crunchyroll, I believe, anime that's come out. And I'm glad they picked this one to come out because it's awesome. And you guys will see it in general. You got the guy Junk Dog, coming in. He's not a citizen to the city, which means he's trying to qualify to be a part of the Megalo tournament. And somehow, some way, he's, he was once a guy who was throwing fights all the time, even though he could possibly beat everybody he's throwing a fight for. Become really intrigued by the champion and want to prove to him that real boxing is better than his gimmick with these mechanical arms is. So he's going to go after all these different people from this point on, and it's going to be great. I can't wait to see the rest of the season on a weekly basis. But it's like really watching it all over again in a different way, and so far so good. So if you're watching Toonami, you're going to have a great lineup that night. Awesome lineup. This is like the best lineup of Toonami ever. I couldn't, as an anime fan, as an otaku, couldn't be more happier there. Last bit of news, and I'll say this again. This is Sunday. You know what tonight is? The first episode of Elseworlds, the DCW Arrowverse crossover trilogy that will be premiering tonight into Monday and into Tuesday. What the hell is going to happen tonight? What is the Monitor involved going to be doing with this? Why is the old school 90s Flash back? What is Superman doing with a black suit? What is going on in here? And what the hell is going to happen when Batwoman makes her appearance? We're going to find out all that tonight, and then I'm also going to review that as well. So that may be an extra episode that I will do this week because I got so much going on this week. I need some extra episodes in, and I don't have enough time. I don't have enough time to put it all in one episode. So that may be a special podcast version this week. I can't wait. I just absolutely can't wait to check that out. So stay tuned tonight. Our A.C.M.G crew, definitely. It's tonight. We're going to have our talk time post with it. Stick around. Join us. Let us know what you think. This is going to be explosive. I am looking forward to this. Will this be the better of the three that is out now? I mean, I'm talking Crisis on Earth X and the first crossover that they did, which was also awesome as well. Excuse me. So I'm looking forward to all that and more. So we'll see. But ladies and gentlemen, that will do it for what's new in the world of A.C.M.G. We're going to take a break, come back, and give our recap of all the things. Well, not all the things, but the highlights of this year's 2018 Game Awards. We'll do that right after this. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Dax Xavier Josiah, the host of A.C.M.G. Presents Talk Time Live, the podcast. You want to catch up with all of our podcast shows and hear from some of the hottest names in all of anime, comics, movies, and games, such as...
This is Miley Flanagan, the voice of Naruto.
This is Stephanie Shea, the voice of Sailor Moon.
This is Ruben Langdon, voice of Ken Masters and Dante from Devil May Cry.
Hey there, this is Kyle Hebert, the voice of Ryu from Street Fighter V.
This is Chris Battle, character designer of Teen Titans Go.
Here's your chance to check out all of that and more on TalkTimeLive.com. TalkTimeLive.com provides all of our A.C.M.G. content with new and previous episodes, exclusive interviews, articles, and much more. Visit TalkTimeLive.com and let us help you learn to let go, live life, and love all things A.C.M.G.
Talk Time Live.
Hi guys, this is Ruben Langdon. You're listening to A.C.M.G. Presents Talk Time Live. Shoryuken!
Do it.
And now it's time for our talk topic of the week. Ready? Fight!
All right, folks, we are back with our talk topic of the week, and it is our recap of the 2018 Game Awards. This year put together once again by Jeff Keighley, if you guys know from G4 fame and Game Trailers fame. And, you know, he's created such a great event every year, but this year, I think, in my opinion, I think this was a bigger event than E3. This alone had a lot going on this year. I think this is more buzzworthy than E3. I think E3 kind of fell off a bit, and I think a lot of that had to do with the fact that there wasn't much to offer. And going down the line, it's going to be worse because Sony's not going to be participating in future E3s as far as we know. We don't know what they're going to be doing, but they didn't really have much to offer this year to say, or blowing us away in some cases like they did in previous years. But I'd say the shock value totally came from the Game Awards this year. And it was awesome. I mean, it was absolutely awesome. I think Jeff Keighley deserves a lot of praise for what he's done. He's on his way to becoming video games version of Ryan Seacrest right now. And that is absolutely the truth. And what he put together every year is great. And it just seems to evolve every year. This one was no different. It really set the tone. The things that he was able to have revealed on his show, and the things that happened, and the iconic things that happened, some of the things that we will remember for a long time. If you're in the industry, if you're into the industry like that, for instance, Phil Spencer who's the head of the Xbox division, along with Reggie Fils-Aimé of Nintendo, everybody knows who that is, and Sean Layden of PlayStation coming together for the first time ever on stage to start the show. That was a very iconic moment. That was a very important moment because you got three huge, powerful figureheads in the world of video games coming together to express their thanks to all the fans, to all the gamers out there, and to just celebrate games in general. And Jeff said that he was waiting 5 years for this to happen. He's been working on it hard, and they finally got it to happen. And they started to show that way, and it was a great way to celebrate all of the brands that are out there and more, and including the indies as well. It was great. It was absolutely great. Phil Spencer, I got to respect him. I love him. I love what he did at this awards. He got interviewed later on the show, and one of the things I believe he said, if I'm correct, let me go back, because I think I did put this on the actual Facebook group. Let me see if I get that. Let me see, because he quoted something that was, and I respect him for it. There's a lot of text going on in that night, especially when all the new, actual, games were revealed tonight. And I told people, you need to watch the Game Awards because you never know what's going to be revealed. You never know what's going to happen and who's going to be there. And this was no different because some of the announcements that was there was unbelievable. And it was awesome. All right. Can't seem to find where I recorded what he said on here. So much text. But Phil Spencer at all best. They asked him, I think Jeff asked him about like how everything was going, and he said pretty good. Could be better. And he wasn't lying. He really. Oh, here it is. Wait a minute. Yeah, here it is. Yeah, I found it. He actually, and he quoted, he said like, we had a good year. We can do better. I respect that because in all heart of hearts, you had to know, and people know that Xbox is great of a system that it is. I don't think they delivered with the way people wanted them to deliver, especially the owners of Xbox, because it's been all about PlayStation and all about Nintendo, especially. And Xbox is absolutely the third on amongst the other three in this one right here. So I respect that he did that. I love when companies kind of do that and are straight up and not trying to hide behind anything, because I think if you hide behind your flaws, you won't know how to fix the flaws, and you're just patching them up, and patching won't do a damn thing. It'll still be there. It'll always be there. But if you face up to them, you'll know how to patch it up, and you'll know how to fix it properly and improve on it. So I admire that he did that, and it just felt very truthful coming from him, and from his the words of the head of Xbox, for saying that. So it was awesome that just to see those three up there, and it was really cool. It just set the tone of the night, and what a great night it was, because it wasn't a first, but it was damn sure absolutely the biggest world premiere reveal of the night, and it really set the tone. I believe that this news was so big that it actually had more people watching the minute that it was announced, because the minute that it came out, first of all, my lovely wife and my dog, I am so sorry because I woke them up upon the news and reveal of this game. The reveal showed Nintendo in all red, like they normally do, with Nintendo Switch logo. But then the Marvel symbol, the Marvel logo, just also appeared out of nowhere. And we don't know where this is going. And you just see all the characters, the Guardians of the Galaxy there, Nebula and the Guardians of the Galaxy. You see the Dark Order. And then you see all these other characters, Captain America, Spider-Man, Wolverine. What the hell is going on here? By the end of this, out comes the logo. And it says Marvel Ultimate Alliance 3. That is the big news. That's exciting news. The bombshell, the mic drop moment for this premiere, exclusive to Nintendo Switch. Nintendo won already. Nintendo won the night of premieres as far as premieres. And they were smart to put this at the beginning of the show, because what happens after that, and I know this was exactly by design, that news was just big. It reminded me, and I got excited, just as excited as it was when they debuted it and premiered Spider-Man at E3, and it became a PlayStation only exclusive. And crowd went apeshit bananas for this thing. And also the year before that, it was Street Fighter V, and people went apeshit crazy for that. And now Nintendo gets the rub from Marvel in this case. Ultimate Alliance. What is there to say about this? Fans of 1 and 2 know how valuable and special this game is, and how much we wanted to see a part 3 for ages. We never thought that we would see it. They recently remastered the first 2 on PlayStation, which was originally, there on Xbox at the time. We never, and actually, correction, also some of those games were also played on the PSP as well. And never in our dreams did we think we would actually see a part 3, especially because of the brand split, or the contractual split of Fox and Paramount and Marvel Studios and all the stuff, and Fox and all this, and with the recent merger, whatever's going on, this really said a lot. Seeing Wolverine and the X-Men and the Sentinels all in this game, there's so much to this whole thing. It ain't funny. It's insane. So we're gonna get play, and I say we're, as in Nintendo, Switch owners, we're going to have the opportunity to play the much anticipated, long awaited, never thought it was going to be Marvel Ultimate Alliance 3 with more of the same cast that we had before in the other 2, but also new characters. The Guardians of the Galaxy has been added to there, and many more. So, and it looks absolutely beautiful. This is Marvel Ultimate Alliance in this generation of gaming. I can't tell you how I literally blew a gasket when I saw this. Not only that, I wasn't the only one. I posted immediately on A.C.M.G. and let them know, and people went crazy. Then we got more people watching the Game Awards. Then, this is real. This is absolutely real. I haven't heard so many people online, on social media, who didn't own a Nintendo Switch now said, okay, now it's time for me to get a Nintendo Switch. This will be the game that will get people to get a Nintendo Switch now. This is amazing, and they knew this was going to happen. And this is added to this, the Game Awards came on at the eve of Super Smash Brothers. So that was another thing. And Reggie was there waiting. The game was going to be released digitally at 12 at midnight. To some cases, it was a little after, because I think they had to do a really quick update to the game before they released it. But it was around 12 a.m. that it was released, and we got a chance to play it then. And it was huge. I mean, the crowd went crazy. People online went crazy as hell. I mean, that's a big, huge coup. And I said this before. I've been saying it for a long time. Do not sleep on Nintendo. You've already seen what they could do. This was a big shot heard around the world. And I cannot wait till this come out in 2019. That was absolutely woke everybody up. Marvel fans, comic book fans, gamers all around. Nintendo fans was happy because they already knew. It's like, we already knew, man. We already knew, but this is just definitely, don't doubt it. Nintendo's been continuously successful in their venture with the Nintendo Switch, and this is just continuing the ventures right there. And I love it because once people actually stop being contrarian and rebelling against the Nintendo Switch, when they finally get it because of this game, you're going to wind up getting all the old stuff that we already got before, and then they're going to automatically assimilate themselves into the fandom and act like that they never, doubted them before. Bull. But it doesn't matter. Find out why we love it so much and enjoy. And definitely, I'm looking forward to enjoying that in 2019. Other huge big news before we get into the categories of things. Ed Boon appears. Ed Boon comes in, and everybody in the room was like, okay, Ed Boon's in here, and he's presenting an award that's not the best fighting game in the world. As a matter of fact, I think it was the sports game award, the best sports game of the year award or something like that. And lo and behold, it's like he's presenting. I'm like, this is just too weird. Why didn't he present the best, fighting game? Because that didn't even get a presentation at the event. Jeff Keighley just shouted off who won that award. And we'll talk about that again because some of our predictions were correct on that. Some of our predictions were correct, period, on here. And some of them were a surprise to me. But honestly, man, he came out, he's presenting this award. The lights come off. And all of a sudden, we finally get our premiere reveal that Mortal Kombat 11 is coming out. Now, that is absolutely great news. It is fantastic news, exciting news. So it showed Raiden fighting Scorpion again. What diluted this actual reveal was 21 Savage, who did the theme song to this, and it was odd because it felt as great as it was to hear that Mortal Kombat 11 coming up. Hearing 21 Savage do a crappy rap theme for this is like, it didn't work. It didn't really work. Where was the Wu-Tang in all this? Because that would have been way more appropriate, especially they're celebrating their 25th anniversary of, the 36 Enter the 36 Chambers. Why didn't you use one of those any one of those songs would have been way more appropriate to use. Hell, anyone in their library would have been more appropriate to use than this 21 Savage deal. I don't know whose idea was it to pick 21 Savage to do the theme, but nobody had anything good to say about that song that was sung or rapped and in the trailer. It really kind of diluted it just a bit, but the exciting news is that it's coming back. We just hope that 21 Savage, any of his tracks or anything doesn't come with it. It was crappy. It was absolutely crappy, but nonetheless, we are getting it back. Seriously, the Wu-Tang, their whole theme is martial arts. What were you guys thinking? They used they referenced you in this damn thing, Ed Boon. What the hell? But it is finally here. We do get the reveal. It looks phenomenal. We don't know what the hell's going to happen or who is going to be involved, but we will see. We're going to be talking about that down the line. It is coming March 28th. They already have a set date for this, March 28th or did they say April 28th? Let me actually look at that. Let me not quote this because I don't want to misquote that at all. And it is coming out in 2019, that I know. But, God, so much text. Mortal Kombat. Yes, it is April 23rd. I'm sorry. It's coming out April 23rd. It's coming out for all the systems. Well, all right. I'm going to say Xbox and PlayStation, definitely. It'll be really cool to see if it comes out on, if they have a PlayStation, Nintendo Switch version, which I doubt. I don't think it's coming on Nintendo Switch. I'll be very surprised if it comes on Nintendo Switch. I'll be very happy if it does. I don't think it'll be able to handle it graphically. I don't know. I could be wrong. But that is a game that is very graphic heavy. And it'll be interesting to see what they do. I mean, yeah, the PS Vita did it with did a Mortal Kombat and an Injustice, but it was diluted graphically as a result because just to make sure the frame rate and everything was in there. Still a great game to play on there, but it did lose a little bit in as far as the graphic integrity or the artistic integrity of it as well. Cutscenes weren't affected, but it is what it is. Well, we'll see. But it is coming back, so that was awesome as well. One of the other final one, I mean, there was a lot of different world premieres. There was a ton of world premieres. A lot of it was some indie-based premieres and some other additions to like Fortnite and Forza and all the stuff, some additions and everything, along with it. But some of the things I think people really stuck out on was those two, and then this one right here. With Super Smash Bros. Coming out that night at 12 a.m., the last premiere that Reggie was able to announce was the first name of the 5 DLC package that they were coming out, and this set the standards. This is now, I said I wasn't going to get the DLC until I'm convinced. This one convinced me. The new character to come out very soon in Super Smash Bros., Persona 5's Joker, is going to be on the deal. So now that's insanely huge. To have a character from Persona, from that series, come out and be a part of the game, that's totally out of left field. Nobody saw this coming. And the great part about it is that means anybody can be in this game next. So you got 4 more slots left. Anybody from any universe. It could be Naruto. It could be Goku. It could be, God, who knows? I mean, like, it could be Tekken characters. Heihachi possibly, because Heihachi is always the one that seems to be everywhere. Could be Kratos. You never know. I mean, it's like, oh God, that would be crazy. Because I don't think a PlayStation character is an actual PlayStation character is in the game at all. But it could be anybody in this case. They've probably negotiated with anybody. It could be Sub-Zero. It could be, who knows? God, the world is the oyster right now with the game. By the way, as far as Super Smash Bros., of course, I'm going to review that this week on Select Start. As well as, I forgot to mention this, the other item I got from the Nintendo New York store was the actual left Joy-Con with the D-pad on there. So I'm going to let you know the pros and cons, if any, that's going on in there. And another new item that I'm getting that will help people who get the Joy-Cons with the D-pad. So we'll see how that goes as well. So we'll be talking about, we got enough stuff to talk about for Select Start this week. So stay tuned for that and more for that. But just some great blowaway announcements there. But it's all about who wins and who doesn't this year. So I'm going to go down some highlights. Not all of them, but just a few that I've, really took focus of and wanted to invest in. Game of the Year, of course. This one slightly surprised me. And with that said, I do understand it, and I have no problems with it at all. God of War was voted by fans and by the committee as Game of the Year, going up against Celeste, Marvel Spider-Man, Red Dead Redemption 2, which was getting killer awards that night, and Monster Hunter World. So definitely Game of the Year goes to God of War, and I have no problem with it. It's not my favorite God of War game, but that's not to say that it wasn't a phenomenal game at all. Great game. The strength was in the story, I believe. Very much story driven and strongly story driven. It was great. A great retelling of the series in some cases, or starting a new chapter, if you will. But I had a great time with it. I absolutely loved it. From there, a lot of people was thinking Red Dead was going to get it, including me, who I never played Red Dead, but there was just so much talk about it that I felt that it was going to win. I'm glad it's a game that at least I own and played that won the game. I also, in my heart of hearts, wanted Spider-Man, but I knew that wasn't going to happen. So, but that's taking nothing away from any of these games at all. All these games are deserving of it. It's just a hard category right there. Best ongoing game. I didn't need a crystal ball to predict the obvious here. Fortnite is the winner, going up against Destiny 2, Forsaken, No Man's Sky, Overwatch. I didn't even know No Man's Sky is still going on. Overwatch and Tom Clancy Rainbow Six Siege in there. So that was great. I'm sure there were great games as well, but Fortnite is just, it's in that phenomenon category right now, so it can't be stopped in some cases. Best game direction. Once again, God of War win it for best as well for this, and for best action adventure game as well. So they dominated 3 categories this evening as well. But they went up against, for best game direction, they went up against Detroit Become Human. Phenomenal game. Beautiful. I gotta replay that game again. It's so great. A Way Out, Marvel Spider-Man, Red Dead Redemption 2. Best narrative. This was a hard one, because there's a lot of great I felt like, if anything, God of War should have got this one. It went to Red Dead Redemption 2, and that's, I can't say, because Red Dead, as a game I haven't played or have no interest in playing right now. I'm just not a, Western, fan like that. But Marvel Spider-Man had a extremely strong, narrative in there. God of War, absolutely, especially just the way that they were able to rehash that. Detroit Become Human, all great. I recommend all these games to anybody, who just likes great storytelling and character development in there as well. Best art direction, Return of the Obra Dinn is the winner. I've never played that game before, but it actually won up against Assassin's Creed, God of War, Octopath Traveler. I haven't played that completely, but I played the demo back then. Not really a JRPG fan, but I got to give it credit. Beautiful game. Absolutely beautiful 16-bit game. It's just stunning what they were able to do with that. And Red Dead Redemption also. It's funny, like I said, Rockstar games were not one of my favorite artistic directed games, especially during the days of Vice City and all the stuff, but they've evolved and made immensely. This is where I felt Rockstar could do, and I'm glad that we're seeing that now. So, best performance. A little heartbroken about this one for two reasons. One, the winner of this one, it was Roger Clark, who played Arthur Morgan from Red Dead Redemption 2. Again, I haven't seen it, but even looking at the trailer, you just got to know the performances looks absolutely stellar from there. Brian Deckard, who played as Connor on Detroit Become Human, I agree. He did phenomenal, well-deserved nomination there. Christopher Judge, who actually presented one of the awards, him and Loki, who played the voices of Loki, was in there. He did the boy thing, and people went crazy for it. So he was nominated, but he didn't win. Melissa Anti Mahut played Cassandra in Assassin's Creed Odyssey, and my personal favorite, Yuri Lowenthal, the voice of Sasuke, also played Peter Parker. He was nominated as well. I was hoping for him because he is probably the Kevin Conroy of Peter Parker to Peter Parker in this series. I think he did a phenomenal job here from doing that. So one of the things was that Yuri didn't win, and the other thing was, where was the Game Awards when God of War 3 and all those other ones came out? Because T.C. Carson so deserves some nod to that series. He's done majority of those God of War games for God knows how long. I hope some way or some form of fashion that they give him the credit that he deserves, because his voice really, his raging voice truly helped made that game, and his portrayal of that character made that game an icon by far. So here nor there, but hopefully down the line, and hopefully we'll see that happen. Best indie game or independent game, Celeste wins. Haven't played that game, but it does look pretty interesting, pretty deep. Dead Cells did win an award this then I believe Best Action Game it won. And I remember we had this conversation last week with our guest, Michael Burhan. I'm like, dude, if you haven't played Dead Cells, I can't even describe to you how enigmatic that game is for an action game, but it's an enigma in itself, and how they put it together and designed it was great. But for Best Indie Game, Celeste won, and it went up against Dead Cells, Into the Breach, Return of the Obra Dinn, and The Messenger, which really is like a Ninja Gaiden style game right there. Best RPG went to Monster Hunter World. Didn't go up against every category there, but the last category here went to Best Fighting Game. And again, me and Michael talked about this last week. He felt that Street Fighter V Arcade Edition, and that's a strong argument. I couldn't disagree with him. It was a huge possibility that I was going to win, but my heart of hearts said that Dragon Ball FighterZ, because of what that game has done in EVO, the popularity that it has gained, the amount of work that was put in by Arc System Works in that game, I knew that they were going to do it. I knew that they were going to win, and that is exactly who won. The only Bandai game, Namco game, that won this year was that. And you know what? It's a testament to this, because I hope what they did with this game as far as everything that they put into it, I hope that they do this for every other game from this point on. I'm talking One Piece. I'm talking the next My Hero Academia game that they come out with, especially because that game should have had that Naruto production. Whether the cutscenes, all the playability factors in there, it was a good game, but it just felt like it was just shallow of what it could be. And hopefully them realizing that Dragon Ball FighterZ won over their other game, Soul Calibur 6. Blaze Blue also. It's funny because Capcom was the only Street Fighter was the only Capcom game represented in this category, going up against two Arkham System Works games and two Bandai Namco games. Dragon Ball FighterZ is a game that's in accordance to with a combination of, actually I should say, of Dragon Ball Arc System Works and Bandai Namco working together to create Dragon Ball there. So technically it's two games by each in some cases. They're sharing one. But which means it's a win for both companies. I really do hope that, they put in the extra effort to a lot of these anime-based games. I know Kill la Kill is going to be coming out, and that's the next game that Arc System Works is going to be working on. So hopefully we'll get that same treatment from there as well, and don't half-ass it. If you really want it to be a phenomenon like Dragon Ball FighterZ was, can't wait to see what they do with 2. But they really need to go to extra effort for this and that one. So that was all the highlights that I want to see. But overall, I enjoyed every minute of this award ceremony, every category that came about. It was extremely exciting to watch. I like the idea that they, add on these world premiere things. So you get a little bit of E3 flavor and then an award show, which keeps the excitement going and keeps the crowd on their feet at all times. And I look forward to it. Having, all three, the trinity of gaming together and this on stage for the first time ever, it set a tone. Jeff Keighley, I commend him. He needs to be extremely proud of his accomplishments. And this was his love letter. This is always his love letter to the gaming community and the game world. Shout out to Sonic Fox, who also won Best eSport Gamer of the Year. He was very emotional. This is the guy who won Evo, I believe, for Dragon Ball FighterZ. He was the Dragon Ball FighterZ winner for this year. Or was he the winner for Street Fighter? I forgot. But he was one of the Evo winners, but he was also the eSport Gamer of the Year. And it was a very emotional, nerve-wracking speech that he made, but it was great. It was absolutely great. He admitted that he was openly gay, and for him to be openly gay and to be accepted into this community and the community in general was great. He also took a little swing at the Republicans Party as well, doing so, saying I'm a gamer, I'm openly gay, and I guess he's a Democrat too, but that was just 3 things that Republicans hate the most. It was really great. It was funny, but shout out to him, well deserved. And he came with the gimmick costume, the Sonic Fox costume, which he had to take the helmet off after a while because he was just so emotional. He almost to the point that if he kept it on, he probably would have hyperventilated and passed out. But shout out to him. Congratulations as well. It's just awesome. And just a great event. I can't wait to see what they do, as the years go on. And just great. I love seeing this type of community and why it's important. Video games, in all heart of hearts, is an art form, no different than any other art form that you've ever seen, whether it's sculpting or ceramics, whether it's painting with a medium of acrylic and oil or water-based or whatever on a Strathmore paper to a canvas. It's no different. It's a form of art. It's an art style that I even say mimics that of the Greco-Roman era and the Egyptian era. And its evolution, it mimics that itself, and it does the exact same thing. So, I respect it. I love this art form as this recreational art form, if you will. And I look forward to seeing where it goes from there. But Jeff Keighley is helping along the way in doing this, and I thank him enough for all that and much, much more. Ladies and gentlemen, that will do it for this edition of A.C.M.G. Presents Talk Time Live. Thank you so very much. Again, Elseworlds tonight on the CW. We starting with Supergirl. It's continuing with Arrow. It's going to end with The Flash. I believe Black Lightning and Legends of Tomorrow are still going to be airing at the time. I don't know how Legends is even going to be recognizing or connecting with this or what's going to happen from there, but we'll see. Hopefully nobody dies on this one, and we'll see what happens from there. And hopefully we'll see Batgirl or Batwoman actually come into her own show. Ruby, I was about to say Ruby Riot. I believe it's Ruby Ray. I forgot her name, but that's going to be a big deal anyway. And I can't wait. I cannot wait for that. I'm going to be reviewing that this week. And also, Select Start, we're going to be doing a review of Super Smash Brothers. The game is so damn deep, there's no way in hell I could have said this game is good or how good is it. It's not even a question of is this game good and how does it compare to other ones. There's so much to it. I can't just, trust me, I'm going to have to wait on this. Also going to give my review of some 2 other new items, accessory items as well, including the D-pad version of the Joy-Con and a cover that might help this as well. So I'm going to be working on this as well. But definitely we're going to talk about that. Voltron's coming back this week, so we're going to be reviewing that. Like I said, I'm going to be putting together the Lego deal, so I'll be talking about that as well. And Into the Spider-Verse as well. So much stuff coming. Baki's coming later on. So we got plenty of things to talk about in the world of our favorite fandom. So ladies and gentlemen, I bid you adieu. On behalf of myself, this is Dak Xavier Josiah saying, learn to let go, live life, and love all things anime, comics, movies, and games. This is ACMG Presents Talk Time Live. I am out of here, people. Have a great week. And, of course, happy holidays. Take care. ACMG Presents Talk Time Live is brought to you in part by Viewfinder's Identity Search and Design. Your choice for web design, graphic design, and all multimedia development needs. Visit VFISAD.com and let us bring your vision to reality.